Alrighty. Um, so this is I've been doing a few videos now, done five or six, five like small breakdowns, one big breakdown of EA's NHL series and how the EA NHL series and its franchise mode could help with engagement in Madden CFM because my passion comes from Madden and NFL football. And one of my non-passions is basketball. I'm not a huge basketball fan, but I will state for the record that I have purchased NBA 2K21. Now, I did purchase it while it was on sale this past week or two ago, actually within the last couple of days. I have purchased previous versions of NBA 2K. Now, you might ask yourself, you just said, Win, that you're not a basketball guy. You don't like basketball. Well, why did you buy the basketball game if you're not a basketball guy? Well, the simple answer is really kind of a depressing answer. And the simple answer is that the NBA 2K series and its franchise mode, what's it called? I believe it's now My NBA. I believe it's what it's called now. That format and its career mode, but to a lesser extent, I'm not talking much about career mode. But career mode and its franchise modes are what bring me to this game year in and year out. When it goes on sale, I do not purchase it full price, but whenever it goes on sale, I strongly consider it. And this past week, the PS5 version went on sale for, I believe it's $25 or $30, and I just couldn't pass that up. It was a really good deal. And I wanted to show off the reasons why I purchased NBA 2K, even though I'm not a basketball fan. And I want to show this off because there are some things that Madden could definitely take from the NBA 2K series, if not take note of, because there are things that that this game does, and this is going to be just about what you see here, which is the badge system. I want to show this off because if you're not familiar with 2K series and you're familiar with Madden, you probably know that Madden has the superstar abilities and X Factor abilities. And X Factor abilities and Superstar abilities are an attempt, what I would say is a poor attempt, to replicate the badge system from NBA 2K to make players feel unique and different. And that's a big thing with Madden, trying to make their players, their top end players, feel unique and feel powerful. But unfortunately, those elements that they've added to make those players, to differentiate those players, has almost made the game more arcade-like and less simulation-like. And I want to show what, in 2K, what I feel like is a more simulation-based setup as far as how they do their Superstar X-Factor setup, what they do with badges. Excuse me. Now, this is a created player. I created this player named Wilson Davis. I did not change anything. I didn't change his default name. I didn't change any attributes. The only thing I did was add all gameplay-based badges at the bronze level. And I want to emphasize bronze level here because I want to show off. You can see on the sheet here, I have a total of 70 badges. There are 16 finishing badges, 21 shooting badges, 16 playmaking badges, and 17 defense or rebounding badges. And I want to go through them kind of quick, but kind of slow, just enough so you can look at it. And I want to emphasize, all of these are at bronze level, the lowest level you can have of these badges. They go up from bronze to silver to gold. I believe it's then platinum and then or legend and then Hall of Fame. I don't remember after gold what it is, but there are 5 levels. I'll keep it simple. 5 levels that these badges can get to. And the badge levels, obviously the higher level badge, the better, the more ability boost, the more things it does for you. Keep in mind these are all lowest level because I created the player, I wanted to create the player just for this particular video about badges. Because I wanted to put all the gameplay badges. Now I emphasize gameplay because there are actually some personality badges, but that's not the part that interests me for this particular video. It's the gameplay badges and how it can affect a gameplay experience. And I want you to go through and I want you to look at some of these and how detailed they are as far as what they do specifically. And I want you to tell me or think about how this could be attributed in Madden. Now, I'm not saying that they don't already have this idea kind of in place with the superstar abilities, and the X Factor, but these are things that basically work all the time. There's nothing you have to quote turn on with these like you do with X Factor abilities in Madden. These are abilities that work pretty much as long as the thing in question is being done, then this badge takes effect. So we're going to start with finishing, excuse me, which is typically, obviously, you're going in to make a play at the net, you're dunking, layups, things of that nature. So the first one, Acrobat, boosts the ability to make layups that have a high degree of difficulty. So if you trigger an animation, because remember this is an animation-based game, but if you trigger an animation that causes a hard layup, that Acrobat skill kicks in, and it's at bronze level, so it won't boost the ability much, but it will boost the ability to make that circus-style layup. Back down Punisher increases the chances of a player successfully backing down their opponent when you're backing up into the post. Dream Shake, if you're a fan of Hakeem Olajuwon from back in the day, that's a call, shout out to him. Which raises the chances that a defender bites when doing fakes in the post. So you have to be in the paint, deep. Makes sense if you think about Hakeem Olajuwon, if you're familiar with that player. I know he's an older player, but he really had some nice moves in the post as a center. He'd do just a little kind of move, and then he'd do a spin fadeaway jumper, and just about more often than not would hit that shot. So that's a call out to a previous player in the NBA and creating a badge that basically mimics that particular style of play. Drop Stepper, effectively use drop steps in the post, so it improves that a little bit. Fearless Finisher, I'm just going to kind of not fly through these, I want you to kind of read them as we go. I'm not going to read all of them, but I want you to just kind of get an idea of all the different badges, and this is just for finishing. So this is just going in and basically getting into getting a bucket in a exciting manner. Highlight film in 2K, if you score points or do stuff with your creative player or with players in general, you build up a team takeover meter that once it builds up completely, you can basically super juice a player and kick in their quote X factor for a little while, but you have to fill up a takeover meter. So there are some similarities between 2K system and Madden system, but I feel like it works more to 2K's benefit in a simulation standpoint, whereas in Madden it feels way too arcade-like. So just kind of flipping through some of these, just take a look-see at these and see how specific they are. They're very specific. Now I'm going to say, obviously I created this player and I built all these badges into him. You're not going to have all these badges. You will have a fraction of these badges probably as a creative player, or meaning a career player, or even a real player. I'll show some real players just so you can get an idea. I'll pick some of the big top end guys so that way it can be recognizable. But just look at all these. There's 16 different ones, and they're all very, very specific. So you can tailor make them to fit the player's archetype, and also to fit the way the player plays in real life or played in real life in the case of old players. Now I'm going to flip to shooting. I got to go back up to the top. So just kind of going through these real slow, not really, I'm not going to really read them per se, but I just want you to look at all the different styles and look at the specific nature of them. Like corner specialist, just to mention this one. You got to take a shot in the corner for this to kick in. If you're not in the corner, corner specialist doesn't kick in. Dead eye, deep threes, difficult shots. Just kind of going through these. They're very, very specific, and I like that specificity mainly because you can tailor make it to a certain thing and it doesn't feel super overpowered. Can it be overpowered in a certain sense? Absolutely. Anything can be overpowered if you exploit it, but these are so specific that it almost would strike me as a difficult thing to really exploit on a time in time out basis unless you're an elite level user. But just looking through these shooting, and I'm just going to bounce through these kind of quick. I just want you to get an idea. I'm going to go back up for this one slow, but just the different types and the 4 different fields. I know that Madden has a few superstar abilities, and you can get different superstar abilities on players. They're rather random, which can be a bit of a problem, especially with creative players. And you can now, commissioners have the tools to edit those abilities and take them and add them on or take them off as you see fit. which is a great thing, and it's a kudos to EA for doing that. But I really think that the system as a whole either needs to be taken away and overhauled, or just overhauled as it is now, and make it really, really specific. Like break down every single little thing and break it down into a system of tiers where it's not just an ability, but it's also at a certain level of ability. So you could have players have the same ability, but there's maybe somebody's better at it than something else. For example, Christian McCaffrey in the NFL, really good in open space, really good, able to break tackles, able to juke people out of their shoes. And in Madden, he may get an ability, a superstar ability, where he'll have the ability to run over people like an Ezekiel Elliott has. And he's really not that kind of runner. He's more of a juke, sly, elusive back, whereas Elliott is more of a run over you style of player, type of runner. He can juke a little bit, but he's not near as good as McCaffrey. Why would they have the same ability working at the same level if they're not the same type of player? That's where these badges that 2K implements will come into play. You could use these similar to superstar abilities. The only thing you'd have to change with superstar abilities as they are now is simply just change levels, add different levels, make it a bronze, silver, or if you wanted to use your development grades from Madden, make it normal, star, superstar, and X Factor style of your superstar abilities, so that way different players could have different levels of these abilities, and it would work out to where one player would be slightly better with this ability than another, even though it's the same ability. So that way you could differentiate your players. I'm going to flip through defense and rebounding real quick on this created player, just so you can see all the gameplay-based badges that are in the game. These are every single badge that you can get in the game on one player. Again, unrealistic, but I want to show it off for this video. And now I'm going to go and I want to look at, let's find the Los Angeles Lakers. That'll be the easiest one because LeBron James. LeBron James has 61 badges. Hey, he has almost all of them. So, but you see now we have some different style of badges. I'm going to go down at the bottom here. His drop step is a bronze level. His dream shake is a bronze level. Rise up is a bronze level. Then you start getting into silver levels. It's the same badge I had on my created player. The only difference is he's slightly better. So he's going to get more of an increase in his shot percentage when he's attempting a putback after an offensive rebound. Do you realize how specific that is and how minutia that is for that to actually occur? So even though it's at silver level, it's not super overpowered because it's so minute of a chance that it happens, or it's so small of a chance that it happens, that it's not overpowered. Lob City Finisher. Improves chances of completing a successful alley-oop dunk layup or alley-oop layup. Highlight film. Back down Punisher. Those are all silver. Now we get into gold. Gold is basically above silver, obviously, and you can see these same attributes, these same badges that I had on my created player are at gold level going to be improved even more than that bronze level. And then finally he has, I believe that's the Hall of Fame badge, Fearless Finisher. Improves the ability to convert contact layups. So basically if he gets hit, he's probably going to make the layup as he's getting hit. And gold level in these. Silver level in these. Bronze level in these. Bronze level in quick first step. And as you look at these, you can kind of see that these actually map out what type of player LeBron James is. Yes, he is one of the premier players in the NBA, even though he's getting a little older. But you can see how these attributes, these badges, at the levels they're at, you can see how that makes him the special player that he is. So let's look at a little different player, same team. Anthony Davis. He has 42 badges. Note he doesn't have that Hall of Fame ability for putbacks, but he does have Fearless Finisher. He has it at gold level, not at Hall of Fame level. Shooting. He's not known to be a shooter, but he's got the ability to shoot some post fades. Definitely not a playmaker as a center, so he's not going to be a great passer, but he has a little bit of a skill set in starting up a break. And by the way, this doesn't affect his overall attributes. These are just things that basically enhance his attributes in certain situations. So he's still an elite player at passing or things of that nature, but in this particular case, that badge will kick in whenever that scenario happens, and that will give him a boost to his already solid attribute totals. And then defense and rebounding, you can see he's got a lot of golds. He's got a couple of silvers. Or actually, he's got some bronze. He just goes straight to bronze. And you can, oh, wrong button. Nope, still wrong button. Golly. Okay, back. There we go. Hit the right button, Winnibus. All right, so let's pick up another player. I tell you what, let's go really old school because I like being able to do this. Let's go all players. Michael Jordan, 30 years old. He's got 38 badges, so not near what LeBron James has right now. But you can look, and if you know Michael Jordan and his career, you can kind of follow along and see that all these at Hall of Fame level make a ton of sense. If you've seen any highlight reels with Jordan, the high degree of difficulty layup should make sense. Contact layup should make sense. Posterizing your opponent should definitely make sense. And you can kind of see as you go along, some of this stuff makes a lot of sense as far as finishing capabilities. I mean, he wasn't exactly known other than for dunking at this age at 30. He wasn't exactly known as a guy who would work the post a lot. Ice in your veins, yeah, that fits Jordan. Stop and pop, difficult shots, catch and shoot, playmaking. So basically, if he's got the ball in transition, he's faster than normal by a lot. And then defense and rebounding, known as a solid primetime defender in his heyday. You can see he's got a lot of Hall of Fame level badges here. So I think while the superstar system is solid, I think it would benefit greatly from adding different tiers and having those tiers basically help to differentiate players. Use the same abilities, but just add different rankings and tiers so that way you know, okay, this player is better at pogo stick in this case than player B is. And you will get some players. Let me just find somebody on the bench here. And you will get players that have very few. And these are guys that are lower overall. You can see he's a 71 overall, 35 years old. He's got one badge to his name, and it's a catch and shoot bronze badge, which basically means if he catches the ball and he's behind the three-point line, he's got a good chance of hitting a three-pointer, or a better chance than normal of hitting a three-pointer. And that ties in with his attributes. It ties in with that to basically make this player what he is. And I think these types of things, this badge system, could help superstar attributes in Madden become that much better by adding tier levels. You could easily eliminate the superstar X factors, that arcadey style feel, add this badge system to a higher degree as far as different attributes, and maybe work in some different development setups, like maybe from my NHL series I did on things that Madden can steal from or borrow from. Take that setup as far as, instead of doing development, you have potential, and then taking that with this badge system for your superstar abilities and adding those different tiers. And I think then you have a really nice system for engagement and looking at how players are differentiated from each other, because that's really what the superstar abilities are, what the X Factor abilities are. There are ways to differentiate players, and you can do it a lot easier by eliminating the X Factor superstars and just adding different tiers for your superstar badges and making that your system. I think that would be much better balance. I think it would add a lot of differences between players, and you would get that degree of difference as far as, player A versus player B. If they have the same attributes, then their badges basically make the difference between what they do well in certain situations versus other situations. And I think the badge system is something that, while Madden sort of has a foothold with the superstar abilities, I think taking it to the next level by adding these tiers and really differentiating players even with the same abilities would be a huge step up in basically taking Madden's franchise mode to the next level. I'll come out with some more NBA 2K stuff later on today, hopefully. If not, I should have something out tomorrow. If you have any questions on this particular video or any suggestions or ideas for other videos to do to help Madden out as far as our franchise mode, let me know in the comments below. I'll be glad to read it, and if I see anything I like, I'll definitely throw it on and do a video on it.